Hello everyone, we are live. Welcome to the workbench. How is everyone this evening? I hope you are well. I had a few questions about my Terrier fleet last week, so I thought I'd answer them. I have a few. And I didn't do it as Stepney, because there is Stepney. And I didn't do it as Fenchurch, because there is Fenchurch. So now you know. We also have a 240 Hailsham, as we know. We've got the Southeastern and Chatham's 751. We've got number 662, which is in fact the original Dapol Umber Terrier, which has been detailed and had the livery painted correctly on it. And as yet, still bits of paper stuck on with blue tack to test out transfers. Departmental Terrier, number 638. Good evening, Killian. How are you this evening? Welcome to the stream. And obviously with all those terriers we are tonight going to add Kemp Town. At least that's the aim. But yes, hopefully that answers all the questions about why I didn't do Stepney, why I didn't do Fenchurch, how many I have. Obviously one day I'll have all 50, that's just the only correct thing to do. So, obviously we've already done on here a fair amount of detailing. There is not a huge amount left to do. There is some coal to add to the bunker. There is some names to put on the side. There is some lamp irons to put on. There is some couplings to add. They are all A1s, Killian. All of them are in as-built condition. There is not an A1X amongst them. And for those that saw my video through the week, you will see that Stepney here has had some detailing done to it with the silver and copper paint and the Westinghouse pump. And in fact the correct copper colour being painted where I had previously used gold because I didn't have any copper at the time. So, as we wanted to find out last week, it's time to see just how good these transfers from Precision Labels are. I'm going to change this blade, this one's looking rather knackered. Retooling is marvellous, but this is a very respectable model. Thank you, Killian. Yes, I quite agree. The new tooling is marvellous. But for the price, this will do me. Now, remember everyone, this is not the way of making your knife blades fit. The way to make your knife blades fit is to order the correct size knife blades. This is one of those times where you don't do what I do. That's way too thick there. It wasn't moving where I wanted it to. So yes, don't ever let me catch you doing this with your knife blades to make them fit. Ordering the correct... No, it is right, I assure you it is. Unless, of course, you're me, obviously. So, how is everyone this evening? I hope we are well. I hope we have had a good week. I was just cutting the transfer down to size. As this does appear to be, much like my ones, style of transfer that covers the whole sheet. We will be testing that shortly, because it wouldn't be a review if we didn't, would it? But I've actually remembered to get some water this evening. So it's fairly meh week, perfect end. Yes, I'm sure it was. I hope the air show sounds like it was fantastic. Wish I could get out to more things like that. But Shuttleworth is rather a long journey. Backup hydration. No. No, we won't be using it for backup hydration. Hydration may be important, but that's not drinking water. Now, as was discussed last week, I was asked about gloss varnish, and obviously you would normally use gloss varnish. I have used it. I have done water slides of this type without gloss varnish before with no ill effects. I do, however, have a spare set of these transfers should I decide it needs a gloss varnish coat applying. I can certainly see that slightly on the camera, not so much in real life. We shall have to wait until it is dry to make that decision. I think we have the positioning about right there. Yes, I'm quite happy with that. Set off at 6:30 this morning, got back at 20:40, pretty tired. Yeah, I bet you are, Alex. Bet you are indeed. So yes, that did appear to me that the entire backing was transfer. I'm just going to confirm that by dropping a bit of the spare that I've cut off into the water. And whilst we're doing that, we shall cut out for the other side. For science, exactly, Alex, for science and review purposes. Good evening, James. Welcome to the live stream. Right. We're going to drop this one in and fetch our test piece out and see if we can get a transfer off it. As Alex says, for science. Oh yes, there's definitely a transfer there. You probably can't see that. Well, yes you can, there we go, there is definitely transfer there. So this is the full sheet is indeed a transfer, so you do have to cut them down to the size that you want. As I thought. There we go, we have done our bit of science. Now I just want to warn you all now that that light up there, which is the brighter of the two, has been playing up and it's been quite bad this evening. It's a loose connection in the switch. So if you notice any flickering, it is because that light is flickering. I'm hoping it is fixed temporarily, but I do need to replace the switch on it. I have a switch. I wasn't planning on using it until we were in the new studio. But if I have to use it now, I will. So we shall get the second name on. Now, to me, the carrier paper on this side is looking quite visible. Again, this side, I can't see that in person. Can't tell whether it's showing up on camera or not. But this side, I can. So we shall see. Again, it's all part of the review process. And now, at this early stage in, I would like to remind everyone, hydration is important. And so we now have a new Terrier in the fleet. And I'm thinking it looks quite good. The lettering is a bit too thick, but it's pretty good. Certainly better than anything I've made, but you know, when I've got a printer that can print in white, we'll see. When running through my list of things to do, I forgot that we need to put some lining on the Westinghouse pump steel, which you can see on Hailsham. Just the red and black. Which conveniently are next to each other on this sheet if camera wants to focus. There we go. So we will cut this down so that we've just got some red and black lines. And they won't need to be very long, so we won't cut across the whole sheet. I could use these for doing Stepney, for example. So we'll just cut a bit off the end. We can always cut more off if we need it. But again, because of the nature of my transfers, however we did this, we would have to cut the sheet down to be this thin because the carrying paper is white. But there we have our red and black transfer. Terrier's looking wonderful, better than Hornby ever did with that tooling. Thank you guys, much appreciated. I am certainly putting in, hopefully, more effort than Hornby did. This here is one of the later Hornby ones, and whilst it looks great, it does still have issues, such as the tank tops are still green, they need painting black. Where it's been detailed up, it is significantly better than what they did though. Black goes on the inside, that's what I thought. It's good having one that I've done before around to reference. I hope this wasn't an important bit, we just pulled the transfers off. Hornby effort, don't be silly. So we shall see how good we can get this pump looking with these transfers. And they should hopefully cover up everywhere I've gone a bit over with the silver. Which actually on this one isn't too bad. They did at least remodel the smoke box door without... Yes, they did remodel the smoke box door, which was very nice of them. But, I mean, it wasn't that much effort to remove. Yes, it doesn't look great, but a touch up and some varnish and that'll look fine. Oh, we're going to have fun with these like we did last week on the boiler. That wasn't meant to happen. I mean, I know I hadn't sealed it and it hadn't really been that long since I'd put it on there. But it's also not wet. And for those that know the reason I've picked this terrier, can I say tank tops? Yes, tank tops should be black, Ian. Well, that's the death of that one. Don't forget to smash that like button. Yes, everyone, smash the like button. So, spare transfers. Now, I would like at this point to point out that this was all... These came with them. These were not an additional order. You get 4 sets. So that you can mess them all up and still have more to redo it. Tank fronts should be lined, Ian, as per Hailsham here. So the tank fronts are lined. Dapol never lined the tank front. That's one improvement Hornby made. Wow, she got that right. Yes, you did. Not only did you get it right, Alex, but Hornby got it right. And that one, you know, I know which one's more believable. Yes, I'm not happy with myself for ruining that transfer, but worse things have happened. I mean, if this stream goes badly, then I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. If my preparation is anything to go by, well, I came to get everything set up for the just before 8:30, and the stream told me it had been and gone because I'd set up the wrong start time. So I had to go back into the Creator Studio and alter that because I had set it for 1900 rather than 9 o'clock. So if everything goes wrong, that's just the way this stream was meant to happen. There we go. Yes, I saw the odd stream time. I was very confused. Yeah, so was I. But that one looks good to me. I can see the shine down here on the camera, but I can't see it in person. So how are you this evening, Harry? Welcome to the chat. I'm sure you've been here all along, really. Hydration is important, kids. Well, that was unexpected. A mouthful of ice. I don't put ice in my drinks. I just have a cup that goes in the freezer. This obviously is not the correct way of making sure your transfer sticks down quicker. Yes, there's a slight mark of the transfer paper there across the top edge is the only bit I can see in person. I think they look quite good. Evening, I have indeed. I'm good. Yourself? Yes, I am well. Thank you, Harry. Sync transfer. Don't stick to my finger. So have we all got any projects going on this evening? Any more origami from Killian? That was very impressive what you put up on Twitter yesterday. Yes, I wanted you on my finger transfer. That is right. Upside down on my finger was exactly the plan. How did you know? Still laying the engaged fiddle yard. Car, you and that fiddle yard, James. It's as bad as me and having drinks. So there's another transfer to the bin pile. So I'm not expecting these ones to go well just because of how small they are. Just relaxing, thinking about the layout. That's probably best after the day you've had, Alex. I certainly wouldn't want to be using sharp objects after a 14-hour day out. Actually going to cut down this one. Whilst we let that soak for a bit longer. You should see the size of it. I'd love to see the size of it, James. Post it online somewhere so that I can. be fair, I shouldn't be allowed near sharp objects ever. Alex, I have been banned from sharp objects at several places, so you are not alone there. Let's see if I can actually straighten out the end of these. Ah, that's better. The ends of my tweezers actually touch now. They might actually work. Evening all, how's it? Good evening, Tom. Things are very well, thank you. How are you? So that we can. Okay then, Harry. James, put your pictures of your fiddle yard and stuff online so that we can see it. That curled up and I've not even attempted to take the backing paper. Oh, the backing paper has stayed in the water. That was not the plan. That would be why it curled up and ruined itself. There's the backing paper still. All good. Good, Tom. Glad to hear it. They're online on my Flickr account. Thought the links were not permissible in this chat. I mean, the thing is, the links are supposed to be able to be sent in chat. For some reason, they don't work. But yeah, I actually have YouTube set up to allow links. So feel free to try it. But it seems to be that YouTube have broken that. Is that an etch plate for the number? It does look like. Yes, the number is etched. And it is very, very nice if we can get the camera to focus. There we go. Very nice in that you can actually read where it says London, Brighton and South Coast Railway round the outside of the plate. There is also a very, very fine line just around here between the text and the main blue part of the number. I can just about see it here, but I can't see it anywhere else. I know it's there. And that is done by Ian McCormack, who of EB Models, who is often in this stream, albeit late because he is a busy man. His website link is in the description down below. If I remembered to put it there, it certainly should be. As is the link for Precision Labels, who did the transfers for the names. Did anyone see the link? Nope, it never even popped up to tell me that the link, that you tried to post a link, which again, even if I had links restricted, it should pop up to tell me you tried to post one, but it doesn't even manage that. Very fine line between genius and insanity. That's the one, yes. That is the line which is there. Well, that one fell apart because I'd caught the end of the transfers. If I don't get either of these two to go on, we're going to switch to something else for a bit. Maybe do the couplings, because I'm sure that, you know, those fiddly chains are going to be much easier than this. I wonder if you can see the line any better on this side whilst we wait. I think I can see it over on this side. But it's a very fine line, and the reason it doesn't show up very well is it's so fine and my paint didn't really go into it when I painted the plates. Right, this transfer has also come off of its backing paper, so I think that tells us how well this is going to go. Of course it means it's going to be the most successful one yet. Well, it would be if I could get the excess bit off without pulling the whole transfer apart. Or even just get it hidden away underneath where you can't see it. Success! Let's get that bit of backing paper out before we mess something up with it. That one went on a lot better than expected. I suppose what would help with work like this would be if I put the weld in HD. Should have done that earlier, really. Let's just give my glasses a polish. Oh, I can see. No, not upside down. Come here, transfer. It's practically come off the backing paper now. Which, let's face it, if the last one's anything to go by, that could be a good thing. No, that one's ruined. Never mind. Let's pop the body back off the chassis and have a play with some couplings. Oh god, I don't want those ones. Those ones are really fiddly. Do I only have that type? I do only have this type. Okay, I guess I'll go with these ones then. I'd like to take a moment to congratulate myself for buying the wrong type of screw link couplings. So obviously now the hooks that are in place from Dapol are very well stuck on, because, you know, it would rather have the whole buffer beam come off than take the hook out, apparently. I mean, that's impressive. Annoying, but impressive. I don't know what Dapol stuck these on with, but it's good. As you can see, the bulk of that coupling is still in place. And this one seems to have no intention of budging. So I think the best thing to do is to try and push it through from the back. I just need to set the vice up in a way that is supporting it. That to me looks like there's a lot of glue on the back of that coupling. Now, a lot of my models are missing the vacuum pipe because they fall off so easily, and yet these couplings, rather impressively, seem to want to stay in forever. Yes, that looks like it's got a lot of glue on the back of it as well. I wonder if these have been repaired at some point by previous owner. Couldn't get my vice to hold it well enough. And I've stolen the bit out of this, and I can't remember what I did with it. That's helpful. Remember when I said about this stream, if everything went wrong it would just be fitting? Yeah, that. Never mind. Two hooks, two springs, four end links, two middle links, and two pins. Oh yes, and two split pins to hold the coupling in place. Because these are the wrong type of screw coupling. The type I usually use have the central screw link as a single piece etch. These ones have the centre link focus falling out my hand, obviously. No idea where that's gone. Oh, there it is. Have the centre link with a hole through it that you then feed the pin through. Like so, and crimp the end so that it doesn't fall out again. And I just don't like that as much, to be honest. Personal preference, obviously. So those holes on the inside for the couplings are already almost big enough. Where did I put that file? There it is. So on these I'm just going to use the file to file them out slightly bigger. They don't need much at all. The reason I was filing was to avoid it cracking, which it's done anyway. But it's not the end of the world. Good evening, Luke. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Why would you want to watch Bob Ross when you could watch me, who is like Bob Ross, except for my accidents aren't very happy. There we go. So that now fits quite happily through the inner hole. Right. I was wondering about that because I couldn't remember whether I'd had to remove it when I'd done this before. Obviously I had, so let's do that. There we go. That will no longer be in the way of the coupling. And it doesn't reduce the strength of this at all, really. No, for you are like the Bob Ross, but with less hair. Much less hair now that I've cut it, yes. Maybe someone should buy you an afro wig. Like a Bob Ross that doesn't paint happy little trees. No, I get other people to paint my happy little trees. They're better at it than me. Now where did I put that? There it is. You see, the main difference between me and Bob Ross is he did his art because of his mental scarring from his military service. I do mine because I'm not mentally scarred enough. That's true, by the way. The reason he has such a calm demeanour is because he decided he was never going to get angry again after serving as a sergeant in, I believe, the Marines. Just like you to picture Bob Ross as a Marine sergeant. If someone were to buy me an afro wig, I'd wear it, Luke. So, you know, you've got my address. There. It's just a question of getting these out. and getting the holes the right size to accept them now. What on earth is Bob Ross here? Bob Ross was a painter. Biggest difference would be that Bob Ross is dead and you're alive. You'd think that, wouldn't you? I had a much more pleasant military service than Bob Ross. But yes, James, he was a painter. He painted happy little trees. He covered up his happy little accidents, and you would never tell anyone it was there. Hydration is important, as is looking over my tools to see if there's anything I can get. No military service is the best military service, but by definition, someone has to have the best military service. How does this not want to pop out? That quote on my grave. 20 years he served. I approve of happy hydration is important for happy little trees too. It is. Happy little trees love their hydration. They're not such happy little trees if they don't have their hydration. And snap. Yet it's still in there. Even that has not got it to come out. It's completely exposed on one side. There we go. We got it out. We got it out. Obviously not the ideal way of doing it, but it happened. And it does mean I can just get in with the knife to lengthen the size of this hole. So it's not broken, it's just a happy little accident. I want to look down and see how well this is on screen, but I also don't want to cut my fingers off. What on earth had that? Oh, God knows, Alex. But I assume I'm going to have the same problem on the other side. Right, we want to go up a bit as well. Okay, I think that hole is now big enough. That one definitely is. But we've lost it. There we go. Knew that was going to happen eventually. Take a bit more off the bottom of this side. This is the front buffer beam. I approve of not cutting one's fingers off. Fingers I find are much better on. I agree, James. Fingers are indeed much better when they are on. Couple of dabs of super glue and get it back in place. There we go. And that fits right through. Exactly as we wanted. See, everything worked out. The buffer beam snapping was a good thing. Now we've got to do the same to the back. But of course we already know it's going to snap, so spoiler alert. Oh look, it snapped. I didn't see that coming. I'm totally shocked. Oh no. Oh dear, what a shame. It actually is, like, it's not quite come over far enough. It's not fully exposed. Does it not understand why we were doing that? There we go. Got it. And that should be all the cutting we need. Yes. That will do the rear buffer beam. It's almost like I knew that was going to snap and had planned for it to happen. Right, let's check this hook fits through. It does indeed. Oh dear, didn't see that coming. Hydration, still very important. How is everyone doing? As we have now closed out the first hour of this stream. Damn it, I missed the transfers going on. That's what happens when you watch Bob Ross. See, Luke, you should have been here for the amazing artwork. What did Bob Ross have to offer? Because we had amazing artwork of name transfers. In fact, we had 3 sets of transfers that you missed, because this one I managed to pull back off whilst trying to do transfers on here, which we still have 3 more to do. We got one on, but we still need to do the bottom of that pump and then both sides of this half of the pump. Fiddle yard track laying complete. Wahey! Next task, wiring. Not so wahey. I cannot say I am too much of a fan of the old wiring thing. Could you pick something to focus on, camera? Why are you focused on my hand up there automatically? There we go. How very strange of it. We're just approaching that point on my telly. Let's see. So it did try and focus back on there. And it was my hand in the way right at the end there that stole the okay. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Didn't even realise my hand had been in front of it. Right, so let's build some couplings. I now have an extra spring. There's 2 there already, and now there's another one here. Let's put that back in the packet. Why not a fan of wiring? I'm just not. I don't know, really. Seems to go on forever. It seems to take a lot more time investment for very little visual progress. There it is. So that twists round there. this goes in the holes and we squeeze together. And then we do the other one, which goes through the hook. And then we squeeze together. I expect that within 20 years most mods will be radio controlled and battery powered. I am fully with you on that, James. I do believe that is the way the hobby is going, for better or for worse. I do not think digital is the future of the hobby. I think radio control is. I'm going to cut this pin down a bit. I'm going to cover up the ends here so that the bit that comes off does not go flying. Because I'd rather not have a sharp pin end go flying around the room. I believe I used the clamp to do this before. Ooh, happy little coupling. Not just yet, Alex. No falling over, tripod. Go on, camera, you can do it. So now, with that flattened out, it is just that slight bit too big to fit back through the hole. So now we have a happy little coupling. Radio controlled model trains still sound really odd to me. I agree, Alex, but they are indeed the future. Surely radio control will be digital. Yes, but not in the same way of digital, like DCC digital. In fact, Corbs, who sometimes is here, uses radio control. And it does work very, very well. Hello all! So Mr. Mole, wherever you stood. Hello, Christopher! Welcome to the chat. Originally I want to do radio control, too much hassle, really do hope it will be standard in future. Corpse, yeah, there we go, see Corpse is the chat to ask, as Killian says. Don't think technology is quite ready yet, perhaps for garden railways. The thing is, James, Corpse does radio control in 009. So, it's there. Risk at all. Flying 4 times looking for you. Does that mean rails can be rusty? Yes, that's the... They can indeed, Killian. At some point, if you go over to Corbs's YouTube channel, can't remember which one of his channels it's on, actually, so I couldn't tell you the name of it. He's actually got some videos of his locos running up and down a bench and on his laminate floor and all sorts. I was right, that's Thunderbolt Day, I didn't spot you. When the days of RC model trains come, we will never have to worry about cleaning wheels or track again. No, exactly, Luke. I knew my plan. How are you, Mr. Host? I am very well, Christopher. Thank you. I hope you had a good day at the air show. I was one of the from the same DAX over Normandy. Why would anyone not clean wheels and track? They would look horrible and dirty. I agree. Yes. But wheels are clean. I couldn't even find that logo earlier. Wheels are still clean. Wheels are kind of clean. None of these have been used in months. Yeah, you don't want to see this one, Alex. Wheels are absolutely filthy. That one I don't think has been used since it was painted, actually. Wheels could be better, but they're still kind of clean. Wheels are clean. Could use with a polish, but generally they're clean. Wheels are clean. Wheels are clean. So other than the Chatham one, wheels are pretty clean. I don't know, 009, gosh, yes, James, in 009, it's quite impressive. No, that's what it shows. I missed those back to topic. How's progress? Progress is good, Christopher. We have names. We are a named Terrier now. We have the first bit of lining on the Westinghouse pump. We decided that it was too fiddly a job and we'd do something easier, such as screw link couplings, because, you know, they're not quite so fiddly. So, like, you basically want RC chains because they're lazy. His RC Scarlowy ran for over an hour on. Yes, his RC Scarlowy did indeed get over an hour's running on a single charge, which is quite impressive because, you know, those really are small models. They make these Terriers look huge. There's a picture of that somewhere as well. Hailsham staring down Scarlowy over on Oak Hill. So, happy little couplings. I want to see more of that 240. There you go, Luke. Early experiment with my transfers, and I didn't quite get it right, so a couple of them did crack. It is the standard Dapol chassis, which has been modified with the front axle hole being moved and the middle axle hole being solidified. Because on the as built, there is compensation in the middle axle. So that was filled in on here. The coupling rod's cut down. I don't believe I didn't put any pickups on the front wheel, so it only picks up off the 4 drivers. Number 81 Beulah and Box Hill received the 240 wheel arrangement as an experiment. It did not work out and the rest of them did not receive it, and those two were changed back. I did that on my sofa when I did not have a workbench in an evening. Because, you know, although I've got 8 Terriers, they are all different. Glad we have names because I have an identity crisis. Yes. The transfers are quite good for the names. They require you to cut them down properly, as with my transfers they are a single sheet. The carrier film covers the whole sheet. We did science to test that. See how quick those couplings can go together? So much less stressful than doing transfers on a Westinghouse pump. Are you going to redo the transfers at some point? Yes, Luke, I am indeed going to redo the transfers at some point. Those transfers can work just fine. That was my inexperience with them that caused it to crack. Did not give it long enough in the water and was a bit too rough with it. It's the pin cut down and through. And much like the first one, the end squished with the vice. Two happy little couplings. We did science. Science is good, alchemy is better. If I could manage true alchemy, Killian, then I wouldn't be sitting modelling in my living room. It is at this point I would like to remind everyone once again that hydration is very important. And I need to refill the tankard with generic black fizzy sugar-free liquid. And so with that done, we can rehydrate. Now these should now be dry enough on there that we can fit the couplings properly. Oh yes, I forgot that was right there. So it's not on. It's getting back bad, Christopher. You're sitting modelling in your mountaintop mansion. Something along those lines, yes, Alex. If you could do alchemy, where would you be modelling? I'd have somewhere dedicated for modelling rather than sat in front of my living room window. And I'd have a better camera setup that wasn't my phone, because I'd definitely still be doing it on YouTube. Oh yeah, in fact, who needs YouTube? I could pay for you all to come round if I could master alchemy. and we could all sit and model together in a big room of modelling. So there we go, one coupling fitted. So now Kemptown will be able to pull trains. Which is good, because we all know trains is better than Train Simulator. Sorry, what? I jest, Alex. I jest. But yes, if I could master alchemy, I would have a much larger house, and it would have a dedicated room for doing this. And a much more professional camera setup. So this one's a bit tight, but it's in. Proper couplings for proper work. And we shall stick the air pipes back on. Not PeerTube. YouTube gets more viewers. James. Gary, I have your address. Be careful what you say about Train Simulator. Was a joke aimed at Alex, Luke. TS isn't as good as Trains. It has no Lion or Jenny Lind. Well said, Killian. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad you approve. Of course, Killian, the thing is my workbench doesn't have a Jenny Lind yet, so... Give it time, though. Give it time. And there we go, they are stuck. We now want to let them dry before trying to set it back on the chassis so we're not knocking everything off. Because knocking everything off would be bad. So I've been told. You know what, the good thing about super glue is they're solid enough that we can at least make sure it sits on the chassis and that we have cut the holes for the couplings big enough. I don't know why this has become really, really tight to get on. Yes, those holes are fine. You can see through there that it's just far enough back to not interfere with the coupling. And again there, loads of clearance. Evening all, smart looking little engine there. Good evening, Stephen, thank you. She's going well. A little more to do on the body still. We need to finish lining out the Westinghouse pump, get some lamp irons on her, and then we can get onto some much more minute detailing. Get on to Linny about it, mate. Oh, I intend to, Killian, don't worry. I have every intention to. I need to do some bargaining with Linny for a Jenny Lind. Hi again, sorry about not joining immediately. We were cleaning my work area. Hello, Max. Welcome. Do not be sorry about not joining immediately. It is good to have you with us here anytime. How is everyone doing? As we seem to have picked up a couple of new people recently. I hope you are well. I hope you are having a good evening. Do we have any projects on the go at the moment? Right. You just sit because I want to be able to take you off again as well. There's some scissors around here somewhere. There they are, hidden under drill bits that I was looking on, that I had to move earlier. So again, what we're after here, for those that have missed so far, is, where's my pointers gone? There they are. Just some red and black lining for the Westinghouse pump. So we got the bottom of this half to do, and then both bits on this half. We got the top one on here earlier. It took quite a few attempts to get a good bit done. So we shall see how well that goes. So this is all we want, is a little thin strip like this that has our red and black lining on it. In fact, this is too long, we want half of one of these. Didn't cut that very evenly in half, unfortunately. So whilst that is soaking up lots of water, we will cut this piece down. It was of course very nice of those chaps at Brighton to devise a livery that we could so freely chop up lining strips for, to get all the different bits of lining that were needed. It's floating off its transfer paper on my finger. Now you might think that's not very helpful, but as we discovered earlier, it kind of is. And there we have the top half of the Westinghouse pump lined. Just like that. What is Stepney's situation right now? There's Stepney. The real one's not in such a good situation, but my one's looking good. The real one, I honestly would not blame the Bluebell if it never ran again. But my one's very nice. As is, for that matter, my Fenchurch. Although the Bluebell have started work on Fenchurch. So that one is in a bit of better condition than Stepney right now. Yes, everyone, remember to smash that like button. Like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'm only 14 shy of the 100. And, you know, that would be an amazing thing to hit triple figures in subscribers. So if there's anyone there that hasn't subscribed yet, please do. And please smash the like button to bits. What are they going to do with the real Stepney? I have no idea, honestly, Max. Hydration, very important, kids. Yeah, for now at least, the real Stepney is going to sit around and look sad. Actually, no, it looks quite happy because it's got a big smiley face on the front of it at the moment. The less said about that, the better. But there we go. It's got a head code disc on it stating that it's 144 years old. And it's got its face on. Which it has not worn for many years. And for a long time it looked like it would never wear that face again, actually. Only one more to do and we'll have a fully lined out Westinghouse pump. Scrap it. I do not smash, I press. That's fine. I can deal with just pressing, James. Real Stepney is very broken. Yes, the real Stepney is very, very broken. I'm sure at some point it will work its way back up the queue and will be repaired. Because the Bluebell and Stepney obviously have quite a special history with Stepney being their first ever engine. So I'm sure at some point it will be repaired, but honestly, with the size the Bluebell is now, the Terriers are too small. per Bluebell website. Next major overhaul require new cylinders, casting to which already had significant work on the frames and the major boiler work. Yeah. Sell the real Stepney. No, they'll never sell Stepney. If it were me looking at it with my businessman hat on, in the Bluebell's position, then Stepney would never run again. Stepney would be a static exhibit. It's a lot of money for a very small loco that is most likely never going to earn them back the money that it would cost to repair. But at the same time, as I say, to the Bluebell, it's a very special loco. And it is to a lot of people, so I'm sure at some point it will run again. And that is a point that is heightened, I would say, by the fact that I know the Bluebell did at least hold preliminary talks with the Canadian Railway Museum about repatriating Wadden. So the Bluebell are certainly, to a point, happy to take on more Terriers. But to me, they don't seem like the right fit for the line. Okay, they need some real funding. Bluebell's build a new Stepney, but keep the original at least. Never understand how... Okay, build locos from scratch, yet the NRM can't repair Green Arrow sizes and everything. Luke, the NRM could repair Green Arrow. They choose not to. Building a new one would be easier than repairing the existing one, and you would lose too much of the heritage. The National Railway Museum, being a museum, are in the business of heritage. So it is not enough to say, well, other people can build a new one, why can't you repair it? And there we go. A lined Westinghouse pump. A job I never thought I would do. But there we go, it is done. So we have said that they are in another stream. I remember Stepney, he was giving breakdown rides in 03 when I last went. They were going to be at the NRM can't restore funds. They did Bluebell at one point mentioned doing a new build Jenny Lind. New Terrier, I think it was one of the locos suggested. I don't know about a new Jenny, but the Bluebell have announced that their next project, once the H2 is out, will be a new build Southeastern Chatham E-Class. As long as... I think I'm back, everyone. I'm going to wave my hand in front here so I can see myself on the screen. I think I'm back. That definitely dropped out for a minute, because my phone gave up. Really hoping to see my hand, or if someone could confirm I'm back, that would be very helpful. Wavy hand spotted. Well, hey, thank you, James. I haven't seen it here yet. You're good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So where was I when it cut out? The wavy hand has just come up on my screen here now, so I'm getting some terrible delay on my screen. Did I read about the E-Class? Yes. Yes, indeed. Chatham E-Class is going to be the next thing that the Bluebell do after the H2 is done, which will be wonderful, let's face it, as long as they do put it into South Eastern and Chatham livery and not into one of those later companies that we won't acknowledge liveries like the H2. 10-year project apparently. Yes, and I think 10 years is very optimistic for that. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't get delayed long past that. Look at how long the H2's been going for. I mean, they started the planning for that back in the 90s. So, you know, I'd expect the Bluebell on a new build to be at least 20 years. But I'd love to see them do it in 10. Pace was part of railway history to be preserved category of warning from. Yes, exactly, Stephen. We have to preserve a pacer because those who forget history are bound to repeat it. I'm all for the preservation of a pacer, not because I like them, because I want to make sure we never make that mistake again. There we go. I'm going to fit the screws back in this and leave the wheels on. Now, the thing I've not been able to do for this build is to DCC fit Kemptown, because I am still lacking in a chip. One has been ordered, but I don't have it, and I can't model with what I don't have. So for the benefit of all present, before I carry on with detailing this one, I shall open up Hailsham and show how a DCC chip fits in one of these. Oh, thought the Bluebell wanted to rebuild the Adams. There is talk of rebuilding the radial. It's had some cosmetic work done this week. I'm very cynical about preservation. The coal issue is depressing. Yes, it is. A few people I spoke to said it will be in full at Chatham and that they want the frames cut before H2 is out. That would be brilliant, Matt. That would be amazing. Are they still rationing coal, Killian? Yeah, Killian eventually all will be consigned to museums. It's worth preserving the failures as well as the successes. In any event, the Pacers were not a total disaster. They lasted from the 80s to the late 10s, which is more than Derby lightweight or Class 210 manage. Haven't been aware of any rationing since the late 40s, Max. Don't punch the microphone, Gary. That back's not sat down properly. I'll have to look at that. I'll get light up behind it. Oh, I can see why. There's a cable. Can we get that on camera? Things to look out for. I don't think there's any way I'm getting the lighting right for that. There is a cable sat right in the way there. So as I said, I'm going to take Hailsham apart and show you how a DCC chip fits in one of these. Let's first, actually no, this one comes off easier because I accidentally pulled this one off earlier. So inside these, as they come, there is a big weight stuck behind the smoke box door. And the smoke box is then completely sealed off to the rest of the model. However, if you take that weight out the front and you open up the smoke box to the rest of the model, you can then add, stuck to the top of the motor, with blue tack obviously, a DCC chip, which if we line it up, it sticks out through the front of the model into the top of the boiler section. So we can see in here that the boiler is completely open all the way round, and in fact the bottom half of it is filled with liquid gravity, although it's set at an angle for sliding the DCC chip in, which in the case of Hailsham at least is even fitted into a socket for easy changing of the chip. So that is how you fit a DCC chip into a Terrier. You have to be very careful as you put it back together. So you are putting it in at an angle and getting the chip into the boiler before bringing the chassis round into the body properly. So although you're not getting to see me fit one, that is how they work. Don't they have chips? Then go to the chip shop. Haha, Luke, you're so funny. Is it a Digitrax decoder? No, I believe that is a Gauge Master. It's definitely a Gauge Master socket that I've fitted. I believe the chip is also a Gauge Master. I've got a box for one here actually. No, my 6-pin, it's a Bachmann chip. You can see here I look after these boxes. I don't just use them for putting filler on, but it is in fact a Bachmann chip. So at least get it so you can read that. There we go. Bachmann 6-pin decoder. May even be a Bachmann harness then. So that is how we do that. Let's open the stapler up. Oh, we have 2 staples left. Really must buy some more. Not because I need to staple anything, but because I need lamp irons. So you can see on the Terriers, we want them coming out the wings and on the top there. And I'm just going to represent these. Oh no, there we go, on camera, that's better. So, coming out the sides of the wing plates and one on the top, which obviously on Hailsham has its head code disc. These here for the lubricator fillers are actually just track pins. I don't think I've got any on the workbench because I don't use pins. And then again, and then on the buffers and on the bunker back at the rear of the engine. And that is all we need is for them like this is those 3. Oh, do we need... Oh yes, and one in the middle. Couldn't see that on the front, and there is indeed a hole where there's one missing on the back. So that'll need replacing at some point. You might need to don't think Digitrax is very common over here. I don't think I've ever used a Digitrax decoder actually, no. Might need to staple things. Nah. So much more of the staples from that pack have gone to becoming lamp irons. Beautiful job. Any other projects in mind for today? That router is looking very smart indeed. Thank you, Killian. I do, but as we approach the final hour of the stream, I'm actually not sure we're going to get onto it, which is a shame. There we go. Prized them apart. Because I do, of course, intend to do some white metal soldering next. For the long-awaited i3 is the next project. I have several brake fans installed because I haven't worked out how to do the lamp irons consistently. Shape is more complex than the right angle of these, but staples, you've got me thinking. Yes, I always use staples, Stephen, and they are so easy to bend into complex shapes. For me, I mean, the next thing I will do to these staples is straighten them out, because I will bend them to the size I need rather than the size they are at the moment. Hydration is important. I've heard that magic number letter combination. I knew you'd be happy with that, James. Of course, this project will be dedicated to you, so when we get to that stage of it, I'll be asking you what number to do it as. I already have number 23. But yes, Stephen, staples, they're brilliant. They're easy to bend to any shape you want. Easy to cut. And they take super glue brilliantly. Gosh, I shall be honoured. It shall be your call, James. It's a project you have been asking for. 45 or 46 or even 44. So, a tip for all that don't know it. Do not stick your super glue together. I'm not going to be using these pliers for actually applying, so don't worry. I'm going to be using these ones because these ones aren't quite so magnetised. Just do my usual, putting a few drops on the workbench. Now, if I were doing this completely 100% properly, I would be drilling holes and feeding these into the holes. But if you think I do things properly, then you're obviously new here, so please do make sure you like and subscribe. Oh no, seriously though, I would be doing it properly. I need to get some new chucks for the pin drill. Are you sure you can't start it today? Get a little head start. 145 for B4, 31, 37, 37 for the next one. Not seeing a 31. I will start it if I get time, Max, but I'm not sure there is going to be the time. By the time, once we're done detailing this, I've still got a few extra things to do. I have my interesting box to pull things out of as well. We're going to have to put some paint on these. So yeah, it's not a case of not starting it because I don't want to start it. I do very much want to start it. I'm not convinced there will be time. Oh, and of course we have one extra thing to add. Which, would you believe, one lump of coal gets you quite a bit, really, doesn't it? That's going to do a good few locos. And that is just one lump of coal. It's another good way of relieving stress. Right, I'm just using this now to mark on here. I don't think I've quite got that. Because there's no way these would stay put without some hole to sit into. Got way too many digits there, Killian. There should only be 2 digits. 21 to 30 and 75 to 91. Don't need any more than that. Don't know what this 3-2-0 is all about. That would be fun to watch. Modelling with real coal. Oh yes. Reading from a filthy post-grouping book. Ooh. I mean, I've never been one for burning books. But there we go. Alice on whispers in off topic. Did you have a camera today? I know I said I wasn't going to use these to apply these, but it seems to have become essential with these ones, just to have the strength. Bye! Let's bend another one up, shall we? That was my file, but I caught it. Yes, but I don't expect many good shots. I like to just watch. Mainly my camera hates focusing on moving things. Well, you see now, Alex, if you were to move into the modern era, get a nice phone like this, then you can send things past it and the focus isn't too bad. Better at long range than it is at close range, but it's still got problems. Not like Christopher's camera. That's brilliant, his camera. And this is where using these becomes a problem. Covered everything in glue now. So we're starting to build up that face. All these little details. Car, not bad, nearly 10-year-old, is it? Thanks for the offer, dude. No, only guy holding to take photos. Oh, but can your phone take photos of aircraft in the sky like mine did when I was at Duxford? No problem, shame not to have a record. Don't really care about photographing, filming things personally. It distracts me from actually watching. It's a very good point, Alex. It does indeed. That's why I only have a basic camera. Yeah, it's a very good point. It does indeed distract from watching. How have I done this one? That is into there. Okay. So we're going to put a little hole on the back there with the file that I threw away when it tried to run away. It's alright, all the ones on the front are still there. I didn't knock any off. I went through that stage. Both railways and aircraft protects now and a happy medium. Stops whispering. My memory works fine as a record. Almost never look at photos, joke vids I've taken. You know what, Alex? I never look at any of the photos and stuff I take, but it never stops me taking them. So this first one goes in the middle. I'll never forget what I saw today. Today is the 100th birthday of the man who unveiled the static bloomer. Is it indeed? Oh no! There it is. Oh no, again. There it is again. That being John Pertwee. I did not know it was John Pertwee's birthday. But now that you've called him by name, I do at least know who he is. I know, right? B17, B417, B4. The static bloomer, that is called. Milton Keynes, if memory serves. Yes, number 1008. Yes, according to the wiki. Static bloomer, is that the half new build at Tynesley? Right. I forgot to check I'd actually made this hole big enough, didn't I? That was silly of me. Remember to always check the holes you've made are actually big enough for the thing you want to put in them. Also remember this is a PG stream. That is all. Hope they get that replica built one day, it'd be amazing. And the 670 is working loco recently relaunched. Oh no, sorry, the other one. It's a bit more than half built too. Isn't the new build coming to Worley this year? I'm sure I saw somewhere that the new build is coming to Worley. And I should be at Worley this year. There we go. And so the lamp irons on a Terrier take exactly one staple. I was about to say that. It is, aren't they building it in the L-Cell 1860? Yes, it is, yes. Hopefully with more progress by then. It's in green livery on the splashers. Tender frames are original. Yes, I'm coming to see you, Mr. Host. Yes, I should be stood behind a layout for the vast majority of Worley. I'm rather looking forward to that one. Can I put a bit, see if I can get a bit more glue on this. There's too much glue there. I'm not very confident with how that is holding. I don't think enough glue went into the hole. Yeah, so long as it's not painted the entirely bogus red. I want to go, but I don't want to go for reasons. Which you do want to go, Alex. The layout is called Branxton. It is a 1950s Somerset and Dorset engine shed. And it's a brilliant little layout to play with all day. And I can't say I will definitely get everyone behind the layout if they come and introduce. I anticipate being on the Midland Railway Society stand on the Sunday as usual. I will make sure to come over and say hello then, Stephen, if you are. But yes, I can't promise to get everyone a play on the layout, but if you come over to the layout Branxton and you see me, I've been on stream before, I will be on camera again before then, definitely. If you come over and find me and say and introduce yourself as whoever you are from the stream, I will do my best to get you a little play, because it's a fabulous layout. Should really start with the front ones of these, shouldn't I? Assuming it's a club layout, I'll be seeing it twice. Risky, you might find yourself filling out an application form just so long as Men in Black don't get you to you first. I would have no problem with joining said society as long as I've got money on me, Stephen, which of course, being Worley, I will have plenty of money on me. As you know, I do have quite a love for the Midland as well. Assuming it's a club layout. It's not a club layout. It is a friend's layout. I've never been to Big Exhibition, but I've been meaning to get to Peterborough for the Garden Railway Show. Wait, on the MRC, I think I might have spoken to you 2 years back then. Oh, that's a lot more different to the plastic than I thought it was. It's much greyer. I have to do the whole front now. Thought that was blending in quite nicely at the back. Oh well, never mind. If I do the whole front in this colour, once it's weathered down, I should be able to blend it with the rest of the blacks on the logo anyway. Men in Black, you mean Crimson Lake? England green in our era. Build up a little reserve cash over the year. Branxton, not seeing it on the Worley website. What scale gauge? 00. I'm sure it was this year we're booked in. Mental note, when eating taffy, make sure you pay attention to what you end up grabbing. Yeah, see, Stephen, my reserve of cash for spending at exhibitions usually goes to Uckfield show in October. Hydration is important. Unless, of course, I mean, there's every chance, Stephen, that I've got it wrong. It's actually next year I'm going. I know we're booked into Worley at some point, and I am part of the operating team for Worley. I shall be seeing Roger tomorrow, so I could ask him. Right, so that is the logo getting even closer to being finished. Oh, I've put my PVA slightly out of reach. Hang on a second. Oh. Listing updated 21st of May, so maybe out of date. Oh, it could be then, yes. Fill the bunker with PVA. There is no need to be stingy with it. And then we have some real coal. Pour it out into the lid so I can get some of the smaller stones. These may look like they're massively oversized bits of coal, but when I was at the Bluebell, the bits of coal they were using would barely fit on the shovel. And I have seen pictures that show similar in the pre-grouping era. That one's not going to stay, it's just too big. Of course, what you really want to do now after doing this is to drip PVA down as you would with ballast. I, having not thought ahead and not prepared any, I'm just going to stick some PVA on these bits of coal so that they stay down. Because I don't want a huge amount in there, that'll do me. Of course, the thing about coal is it's absolutely filthy. So much dust, which is great for things like weathering, if you can get it trapped. See, that'll do plenty of locos from that one lump of coal that I acquired from the Bluebell. In Tickfield Thunderbolt, for instance, look at what the bishop is shoveling. Yes, if they're using real coals, it might dirty the paintwork. And it would have done on the real thing, Harry. Coal size agree. One often reads farm accounts having to go back into the tender to break up the coal, to say nothing of the dry stone walls built up at stacking grounds. Yes, indeed. And in fact, when at the Bluebell, it was their road and rail weekend, they had lots of traction engines down, and there was a lady firing one of the traction engines, and she was up on the back smacking this bit of coal with her spanner to break it up, because there was just no way she could use it. But yeah, I couldn't believe how big some of the chunks of coal were. Easily more than a foot across on some locos. There we go. Right, so we are not done yet. Look, my hand's already turning black and I've barely touched the coal. What working locos were ever spotless? None. Harry, get coal dirt on one of Mr. Stroudler's engines, he'll be on the carpet. Colliery locos are famous for upsetting machine staff. They used to put enormous lumps into the firebox. Stand that, don't want dirty gloves after picking up a model. So we take out the extra contents of here. Oh, look, there's another. There's a bag of couplings that I have made up in advance. And there are hooks. Just sat in the bottom of this box. Loads of coupling pieces. That would have made life a little less fiddly. They can go over with my other couplings. So in here we have another bag of stuff we don't want, split open. So we shall get rid of those. I like me a traction engine, and steam lorries for that matter. I've got quite a few pictures of the traction engines, Luke. Remind me at some point and I'll send you them on Twitter. Gloves, you know what? I don't want to know. So in here we have some Stroudley loco lamps from 5 and 9 models. And very nice they are too. The camera really doesn't like focusing today, does it? So yes, some nice little Stroudley loco lamps. We got 2 on Hailsham, we'll just go with 1 on Kemptown. And we have some accurate in size Brighton headcode discs. This is obviously quite not a great example. These were made on my silhouette cutter. We only want the one of them as well. It's quite common in pictures of Terriers, in fact pictures of any Brighton engine, to see well, that's not what I wanted to happen. I'll have to replace that. The lamps sat up on the tank tops during the day. There's a picture in my book actually of a Terrier with all the lamps along the front facing backwards because they weren't being used. Right, I'm going to have to go to bed, dude. I'm knackered. Speak tomorrow. Good night, Alex. Thank you for coming. It has been great having you here. I'm glad you enjoyed the air show. Speak to you tomorrow. Night, Alex. You said knackered and I yawned. Still, I'll be up till 4. Up till 4? Are you insane, Killian? And so we are going to go with just 1 headcode disc. Which is the headcode for Hailsham. And so, at this point, I'm just going to ask, why exactly would I bother with the new tall Terriers when I can get these so much cheaper and have all this fun making them look nice? This is what, 5.5 hours work. Still needs a crew adding. But other than that, I think we've got a rather nice Terrier here. It's not exactly to scale, but it's not £100 either. Slight glitch there. Head code for the Hailsham line in 1912, Stephen. So my exhibition layout. Conveniently, Oak Hill in its real location where it would be is close enough that you could get away with using the same head code on there. Ordinary passenger. No, no, the Brighton used the different head code per route, so type of train was not important for the head code. So the Cuckoo line, Polegate through to Eridge was one single head code disc at the top in 1912. So that is what all my locos will at some point be wearing. And this will most likely spend its life now on that layout, coming up, running round and going back down between Hailsham and what would be Polegate. Hailsham, understood. Especially I'm reading off a BR book. So I'm now going to see if I can get this wire out the way for the back so we can actually get the chassis on properly. Because it seems a shame to have gone to all this effort only to not do that. It would bug me if I didn't do that. It's this wire here, you can see where it's caught. In fact, look, we even pulled it right off. So let's fire up the soldering iron. The nice shiny new soldering iron. Bedtime for me too now, Nigel. Good night, Stephen. Thank you for coming. Has been great having you here. Sleep well. Hope you have enjoyed. So you should build a Terrier that pulled a Royal train if one has. One has not. Terriers aren't quite important enough for Royal trains, unfortunately. Ah yes, that screw was still in there. But Max, at some point I will build all of the Terriers. Oh God. Sorry guys, that melted the super glue. And if there's anything you don't want, it's super glue fumes straight up your nose. That was not in the slightest bit pleasant. 2 out of 10 would not recommend. Right, that's got that in the right place. Let's make sure we clean the nib of this off properly. because of course it was a very kind donation. How many people can say they've modelled an entire large class? That's dedication. It is. Yes, I agree. It is dedication. And I am dedicated to my wonderful terriers. So you know, where spreadsheets have been appearing on RM web of people with what locos they're going to have, I genuinely have a spreadsheet of what terriers I have and what ones I don't and what condition they're all in and what condition the ones I don't have are going to be in. Mark Alec can. I don't know who this Mark Alec you keep mentioning is, Luke. Not quite as dedicated as building every class 47, however. How many class 47s are there then, James? Because that is something I do not know. Right. That should now be that out the way of the body. $500, is that it? Don't tempt me into doing a spreadsheet. How much can you get the old terriers for? The most I have ever paid, and you know, that's when these things were current tooling. Screw's still in there, that's why it's not going in. The most I have ever paid is £40. And I intend on never paying that much again now that the new tooling ones are out. It was just a lump of coal. That's okay. That's easy to replace. Yes, that looks better. Don't tempt me into doing a spreadsheet. Oh, go on, Killian. You know you want to. Plan to have minimum of 6 A4s, and I know someone who has 10 66s. How much can you get the new ones for? The new ones, Max, are about £100. And that's why I'm not having them. I'm truly decadent having 4 Duchesses. Need to sell the modern locos. I only have 1 Duchess. I intend on keeping it that way. And I have no intention on selling anything. Seems to have gone on wonky. New Terriers 120ish. Why you might want them someday. I don't have any Duchesses. Hornby's new ones are about 80 from Hatton's. No one wants Hornby ones. If you're going to get a new Terrier, get the one that's more accurate, which is the Rails one. It has its issues. It's far from perfect. But it's better than the Hornby one. Let me move all this lot back into this box. And I can move the water over there. We have 10 minutes left. So let's have a look at some Terriers. Aren't they pretty? Now, if anyone ever feels the need to donate me any locos, I can make a suggestion as to what locos would be the correct ones to donate. What's wrong with the Hornby ones? Lots, Luke. Lots and lots and lots. There's a whole thread about it on RM web. 662. A1 with extended bunker. I don't believe many got the extended bunker before they were converted to A1X, but I actually have a picture of this loco when it was first receiving its first coat of umber paint. Still as an A1, still with steam pipes on it, and with the extended bunker. So there is one in that condition. .638 in departmental condition, standard A1, not had a lot done to it. Not even had mock-up transfers put on that side. That was a BR1 when I got it. Rescued it. I'd model 666 for the longs. But 662 came out of Dapol as 662. It had a lot of, I've had to do a lot of touching up to the paint on this to make it look this good, but you know, it really does look much better than the original. Like what? Lots, Luke. Way too much for me to list off here. Go read on the internet. There is a whole thread on RM web about it. When they release SCR version, the Hornby variant is good for experimenting, modifying, it's better than the old version. I don't know, I think I've done quite a good job of these. This one obviously has issues with its transfers. These were someone else's transfers, which I modified 4751. They will be getting replaced at some point. They don't look as bad in real life as they do on camera, but they have some very, very severe issues. This side panel especially looks absolutely terrible. Yeah, the newer Terriers are something I'm never going to get. The older ones, however, yes, at some point I may get one because of prices. What, an A1 converted into a tank engine? You know, it is tempting to go to model one that is 666 in that condition. I can't remember whether 66 made it into the duplicates list. Fenchurch, because everyone loves Fenchurch. Especially Mr. Christopher, if he's still about. Number 672, Fenchurch. In LBSC condition. Correct LBSC condition, not with Fenchurch written down it. LB and SCR went on the early Umber livery. It was later shortened to LBSC like that. Yes, you definitely have, but it's easier on me. Yeah. The 240 Beulah, number 81. This was a fun project. Would totally recommend little experimentations like this with them. What I'd really quite like to do is an industrial version as a 420. 042, sorry. I know what I mean. But because these are rear wheel driven, you couldn't do it with one of these, unfortunately. But you know, imagine driving wheels, little carrying wheels under the cab, chop the top of the cab off so it's an open cab, change the chimney, change the dome, change the safety valves and whistle, get rid of the Westinghouse pump. I think it could make quite an interesting little industrial loco. Number 76, Hailsham. First one that was modified is one of the newer Hornby models, so has correct lining on the front. Real thing was scrapped in 1903. I have a picture of it being scrapped. One of my proudest models, I must admit. 66 didn't make it to BR, so I gather it was sold. Sold or scrapped, who knows? Me here. Scrap your tender and have a nice coal bunker instead. Well said, Max. So a mini D1, sort of Killian, but yeah. A few more modifications, but very similar to a D1, yeah. And of course, Kemp Town. But yes, Christopher, I was calling you because Fenchurch was out on display, and I know it's your favourite. So obviously, other than Hailsham and Kemp Town, they all need proper couplings added. And the reason for that is because I hate having to modify the chassis to accept them. But it's definitely worth doing. So as I said, you know, as a project, it's taken less than 6 hours to bring us to a completely renamed, renumbered, detailed Terrier. Very nice concept. Might try it with the new Terriers someday. I'd love to see it if you did, Harry. But yeah, so the level of detail we've brought to this, I am very happy with. As I say, for the price, this Terrier specifically, I think, cost me £35. And for that price and the work that's put in, I do think they're better value than the new ones, personally. They may not be completely accurate to scale, but if I never put them next to a completely accurate to scale one, then I don't see that as being a problem. It is, however, now close enough to midnight that I am going to call the stream there. It has been absolutely wonderful having you all here. You have all been awesome once again. I thank you very much for coming, sitting with me. Can't fathom why Hailsham would be scrapped so early. Was the Colonel not interested? A lot of them got scrapped that early, Killian. They had, come 1903, they had lived their useful life. You know, they're an 1870s loco. They were designed for 30 years' work. They very nearly all faced the chop in the early 1900s. It was the tests with the 240s and the motor trains that actually gave them that second wind. Otherwise, we would have lost them all then. So yes, It has been great having you here. It has been a great project. I have very much enjoyed it. Next week shall see us start on the i3 with the white metal soldering that people have been so desperate to see. So I thank you all for coming. It has been wonderful. You have been awesome. I have been Gary. This has been Let's Build. Good night.